Not this man, but Barabbas. Not many of us give a whole lot of thought to Barabbas. He's sort of a throwaway character, the typical literary bad guy who gets away while the hero suffers on their continuing quest. Information about him is scarce, to say the least. No other ancient sources identify him, so the Gospels are all we have, and they don't exactly offer much screen time. Matthew mentions his name 5 times in the course of 11 verses. Mark 3 in the course of 9, Luke once, and John twice in the same verse. Apart from being in custody, only Mark and John give us any hints about his character, noting he was imprisoned with rebels who had committed murder during an insurrection, and that he was a bandit, probably better translated as insurgent or revolutionary. Despite the lack of data, however, I've been thinking about Barabbas a lot over the last few months, mostly just because of his name. Barabbas, or Bar Abbas, isn't just a random moniker. The 2 parts have a very clear meaning. Bar translates from Aramaic as son of, much like how Mick, Mac, or App function in the British Isles. Abbas, or Abba, might sound a little more familiar, seeing that both Jesus and Paul use the term a few times. It simply means dad or father. So when the people cry for Barabbas' release, they're literally calling for the son of the father. A pretty deep irony considering their options. Now, I have absolutely no sources to back this up, but I suspect that Bar Abbas may also have been a colloquialism, meaning something similar to our concept of a man's man. It fits as a title for someone daring and bold, a person who takes action and gets things done, no matter what might try to stand in the way. The wizened, muscle-bound guy who carves his own track and creates his own destiny. My guess is that whoever this Bar Abbas was, he stood as a stark contrast to the daddy's boy that Jesus might have appeared to be. Both were considered revolutionaries, one embracing violence, the other bestowing love. Both were thought of as leaders, one forcefully attempting to overthrow the world's most powerful government of the era, the other presenting the lived reality of a greater, gentler, and more merciful realm than Rome. To achieve his ends, one struck with a sword and stole life from his foes, while the other knelt with a towel and ultimately offered his life for the same. For me, mulling over this Bar Abbas has highlighted how we make the same choices today, opting for power, spectacle, and machismo over service, simplicity, and acts of kindness. It makes sense. Pretending that we can manage our own fate is a core American trait. It's just discouraging, disappointing really, that 2,000 years after the fact, and with this story embedded into our society on a cultural level, we keep making the same willful mistakes. Even as Christians, perhaps especially as Christians, we keep choosing to give rein to greed and hubris, to glorify selfishness, cruelty, and pride. And thereby, we continue to crucify Christ anew. Words that cry, "Welcome," while our actions exclude. Give us Barabbas. Crying for unity while sowing division. Give us Barabbas. Watching Jesus wash unworthy feet and touching a slave's bloody ear, while demanding that others find their own healing and somehow raise themselves from their own misery. Give us Barabbas. Anytime we seek and flex our own power, whenever we act out of sexism, racism, classism, or any other bias, each time we demand other people hide or reject their own religion, traditions, history, or identity, give us Barabbas. We like to think that our society has evolved over the centuries, that we're different, better somehow, than the crowd that called for Jesus' death. But are we really? Before we demean, degrade, or point fingers at any ancient people, Good Friday sounds a sharp alarm for us to look at our own lives. Before we cheer for ourselves or pat ourselves on the back, the cross demands that we address our own failings. Before we march forth certain of victory and superiority, we need to beware the blaring siren of our own actions. This afternoon, looking past our words and apparent devotion to Jesus, who would our daily and habitual choices reveal we actually want to release? Not this man, but Barabbas.